Radio Show.
Oh my God, I love you so much!
On 97.7 FM, The City.
Greetings, blessings, and good fortune, everybody. We got us another Thursday on our hands, the 4th of April. Getting close to that magic number 8, they tell us. April 8th. We'll see. We'll get that later on in the show. Right now, I just want to let you know that we are going out live. Terrestrial radio, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, the real thing, 97.7 KCYP, the city out of McAllen, Texas. We are now, right now, live from the McAllen Creative Incubator. Joe Martinez, our esteemed studio owner, just had his class from the college course in here. If you want to check it out, it's on Joe's Facebook. It'll be a Cityscape episode. So he took his college class. He's a professor, okay? So he teaches, he's an expert in all this good stuff, right? So he teaches here at the local college. Well, they call it UTPA. Used to be Pan Am or UTRGV. Haha, they got me. I got them. And anyway, he teaches, and he brought the class in here. That was nice. If you get a chance, check that out. Also, we're going out on Facebook. We're going out on YouTube. We're going out on 2 different apps for radio. TuneIn Radio and Radio Garden. Okay? I'm sure they're both good, but I do know Radio Garden I was just listening to earlier today. So you can check that out. Now, we hopefully will get you guys, all of you that want to be, participate in the show, which is that's what we're here for. Participation, right? We'd love to have you just to, bounce some things off of us, get some conversation rolling. You know what I mean? So I've got a lot of stuff that we can talk about, but the most fun is when we come together as a group of people and we share experiences, theories, whatever, because we all know, right? And Renee's behind the computer today. Everybody say hi to Renee. We all know, and Renee and I were just talking about this, that the latest, conspiracy theories only take about a week nowadays, before they're fact, before they're right in front of our face, right? So maybe a month. But, what are these crazy theories about the solar eclipse? I don't know, but we'll get into that in a little while. What I would like to talk about, however, is that we have some things really kicking, okay, in the crypto sphere. In fact, let me get my notes. I should have done this before, right? You would think, hey, Otter, you've done this enough. You should have been prepared. Oh, look at the bag my wife got me. Look at this. Is this nice or what? She's a nice lady. Let's see. There's my notes. And we're ready to go. So, the crypto sphere, I call it, right? Because it's not just Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen. I love Bitcoin. I hope you do too. But the fact of the matter is, there's a lot of other stuff out there that you may or may not want to check out. But I think it would behoove you to be well-rounded in the whole, how would you put it, knowledge base, if you will. I mean, none of us are all-knowing except for God himself. However, I don't think he needs crypto. I do. So, let's say, you want to know what gold is? Earlier today, it was 2,305. All-time highs, ladies and gentlemen. All-time highs. And for a suppressed item, we've talked about that before, the prices of gold and silver are suppressed by the usual suspects. In this case, silver, $27.18. Still obtainable. If you want some, get some. Okay? And Bitcoin earlier today was $67,700 for one Bitcoin. The average mortgage rate of 30 years is 6.15. It's going down. No, it can't be that. Can't be 6.15. I must have had that wrong because the 15-year rate is 6.37. I'll get that straight, ladies and gents. Anyway, either way, it's not a good time to buy a house. And if you are forced to, well, get with me. We've got some people that watch the show that maybe I can hook you up with. So, from Bitcoin.com, and this is one of the interesting things. Bitcoin Cash, and I'll explain that in a minute. Bitcoin Cash undergoes halving event, set stage for May upgrade. Now, those of you who are not all that crypto savvy, you may, Jim, good to see you, Jim. Matt's on. Happy birthday, Matt. Oh, Matt says, Matt says, hey, Chris, it's saying birthday to me. Happy birthday. Don't forget, 10% goes to the big guy. Yeah, I think you're right, unfortunately. Whatever we get. Jeannie's on. Good to see you. Whatever we get, 10% goes to the big guy. But I'll tell you what, when I go to the gas station, when I go to the supermarket, I'm paying more than 10% to that big guy. I'll tell you that right now. And I think every other American notices it. No matter what they lie about when it comes to numbers, jobs numbers, economy. Oh, we're in a good place. Yeah. Where are you, Malibu? Come on. We don't live there. All right. We live in the real world. We go to the grocery store. We actually shop for our own stuff. Okay. We go to the gas pump. We pump the gas. We know it ain't right. Anyway, so Bitcoin Cash. Let me explain that to you. For those of you who enjoy Bitcoin, it's an awesome thing. Great investment, as billionaires know, right? Michael Saylor, if you want to look for one, who just loves buying up the Bitcoin. Saylor, Michael Saylor. Check him out on YouTube. Bitcoin Cash. Okay, so what is Bitcoin Cash? Now, I've explained before, and maybe you don't remember, you haven't seen that show, but Bitcoin, okay, is a literal program. So Bitcoin is only programmed to have 21 million coins total. Why? Because they want it to be a deflationary asset, meaning nobody can just sit at a computer and keep pressing more into existence the way they do with the US dollar. The Federal Reserve note, really. It's not even, doesn't correlate at all to the US government, other than owning the US government. I think by now the Fed owns the US government and their politicians for the most part. I digress. So Bitcoin has things that are really good about it, but there are a few things that some people thought, well, it's not optimal for commerce, let's say. It's not optimal for peer-to-peer payments because it's a little bit slowish, okay? And it's not the, how would you say? It's not the perfect venue, if you will, for like retail sales and so forth. So they wanted to make changes. As we know, you can't mess with the Bitcoin unless you have 51% of all computers in the whole world that are mining Bitcoin. They want to do the same thing. That just didn't work. So a large enough group, created what is called a fork. Boom. So you got Bitcoin and its blockchain. Boom. Bitcoin Cash. A lot of people like Bitcoin Cash. And as of recently, a lot more people like it. So what I'm saying is Bitcoin Cash is just like that. It happens quickly, almost instantaneously. The transaction is done and the fees are extremely low on Bitcoin Cash. Now, what does that all mean for us? Even if we don't want to use it, if you want to invest in it, it's gone up like 300 and some percent in a month. Yeah. So Bitcoin Cash undergoes the halving event. Now, we know that with Bitcoin, we have a halving event coming up. That halving event, I believe later on this month, will be the fact that the minting of Bitcoin will slow down by 50%. So there will be half of the newly minted Bitcoin that there ever was prior. Okay. So it will go from, I believe, 6.5 to 3.125 or something. No, 6.25 to 3.12, something like that. Anyway, it's going to be half of what it is now, which means the supply is not going to be as plentiful. Values going up, ladies and gents. Get yourself some if you would like. But again, I am not a financial advisor. There's no tie on this Hawaiian shirt. This is what they say in Bitcoin.com's article. The latest block data reveals that the Bitcoin Cash network has undergone its anticipated reward halving event. Consequently, Bitcoin Cash miners are now rewarded with half the amount they previously earned before reaching block 840,000. So apparently at block 840,000 of the Bitcoin Cash blockchain, it went into the halving event. Now, with this type of price move, you might think, well, would that correlate to whatever's going to happen with Bitcoin and, further on in this month? Perhaps it will. I don't know. The issue is, I think, that Bitcoin Cash is gaining in popularity. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to mention it to you on today's show, because I don't always thank you, Louis, for the happy birthday there. So I just want to let everybody know that Bitcoin Cash is up and coming. Check it out. So Bitcoin Cash previously, I didn't check it today, but it's in the 620s, I believe, $620. Yeah, so it's much cheaper than regular Bitcoin. A whole Bitcoin Cash, or if you want to invest more, is obtainable if you would like it. If not, you throw 50, $100 at it, whatever you can afford, you throw at it. You don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin Cash coin. So let me get into the weeds just a little bit on this. And I think it'll explain some things to you, not only about Bitcoin Cash, but about blockchain in and of itself. So this guy, David, at David Shares, okay, on X, used to be Twitter, says, today Bitcoin Cash encountered extremely slow and intermittent blocks as it headed into the halving event. Remember, this might be a similar case with Bitcoin, but I'm not sure. Due to the shared hashing algo between Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash, miners prior to the halving block, 840,000, remember, had already switched over to mining Bitcoin in anticipation of the halving and reduced block rewards. So what he's saying is the people who were mining Bitcoin Cash switched at some point very near to right after the actual halving, because then they were going to get half of the rewards that Bitcoin Cash was giving them out. They went to regular Bitcoin because they still have a couple weeks because it hasn't halved yet. Hoping to make more money on Bitcoin than Bitcoin Cash, they'll probably go back. Anyway, it slowed things down on the network. But this, and here's what he's explaining, this caused a decrease in the hash rate, which is the speed at which the transactions are traveling through and going from place to place through the blockchain. So it caused the BCH blocks, the Bitcoin Cash blocks, to slow until the difficulty algo adjusted. This is what I want to talk to you about. So the reason why they can be so precise as to how they know when these halving events are going to occur is they use algorithms to either speed up or slow down the blockchain transaction speed. How does that work? Well, these algorithms are merely math problems, okay? So if they go, let's say I was the blockchain, if they threw anything more than like 2 + 2 at me, it would slow me down. And you know, if you were talking to me, I wouldn't be able to converse with you if you threw at, 324 + 4. I'd have to think. Anyway, it would slow me down, right? Now, it takes considerably more math to slow down a blockchain, but the principle is there. They throw an extremely difficult math problem at the blockchain computer or the actual mining computers, okay, that are figuring these math problems out. And the harder the math problem, the slower it takes, the longer it'll take. Therefore, the transactions will take longer or shorter if they lessen the difficulty level of the math problem. I hope that that's simple enough. And I'm glad I'm not on the blockchain because nobody would get anything anytime soon. So, Bitcoin Cash has witnessed a growth exceeding 357% over the last year. Well, I made the comment a month earlier. I'm sorry, it wasn't a month. It's a year. But 357% in a year, ladies and gents. So that's incredible. That's more than 3 times your money. Had you invested in it earlier in the year, you'd have 3.5 times your money. I mean, to me, that's amazing, right? To me, I don't know, maybe you guys are used to having more. Don't know. So, although Bitcoin Cash has lost 8.2% of that during the past 24 hours against the US dollar. Moreover, Coinbase Derivatives has recently announced plans to introduce futures based on Bitcoin Cash alongside a few other crypto assets. So, what does that mean? It means that you might see, if you want to look into this, please do so. You want some links or whatever, go to, or send me a message at bitcoinotter.media@gmail.com. I'll get right back to you, and I'll let you know where you can look this stuff up. But Bitcoin Cash might be something you want to look at. Cointelegraph says, number of new meme coin traders hit record high into the block. Now, what is a meme coin? Well, a meme coin is a gamble. What do you mean? Well, it really has no purpose in life but to gamble on. So if a meme coin comes out, it'll be a picture of a frog, a picture of a snake, they have different things that meme coins look like. But the fact of the matter is, it's all a gamble. Now, the key is to get in early and get out before it crashes, right? Yeah, that'd be great. But we don't always know when those things are going to happen. And we don't always know if that coin is going to be worth it. There's a lot involved. So I'm looking into it. If you get with me on bitcoinotter.media@gmail.com, I'll get back to you with some links as the same things that I'm looking into. But the fact of the matter is, meme coins, the interest in them is rising. Why? Well, I think personally that it's because the interest in crypto itself is rising. The Great Awakening is happening, folks. Mingo, good to see you. So where do you want to go with meme coins? Good question. Here's the article here. Meme coins have kickstarted a new crypto frenzy, attracting investors new to trading and searching for the next big token that could bring massive gains. Everybody's looking for that life-changing win, that life-changing boom. I made $1 million, right? Can it happen? Yes. I mean, these meme coins are like, they could be like 0.00002 cents. And you buy up thousands of them. And if they go up even a little tick, boom, you got yourself, some money. But the fact of the matter is, you got to find them, you got to invest in them, and you got to, again, please, just throw money at it that you don't need. Don't throw rent money. No, sir. No, ma'am. Don't throw the electric bill at it, because then your computer won't work and you won't be able to buy anymore or get out of the market when you need to. So, market intelligence platform Into the Block shows that the number of wallet addresses holding meme-related tokens for under 30 days hit a record high in March. So basically this niche, whatever you want to call it, tomato, of meme coins is growing. But again, to me, that's just an added feature of the fact that crypto itself is garnering more attention in the general public. And of course, when people see a good thing, when people hear about a good thing, or just something new, they're going to flock to it, or they're at least going to check it out. Now, when something's as good as Bitcoin, they're going to flock to it. And it's coming, ladies and gents. It's coming. Now's your time if you choose. Zero Hedge. This is something that it's a change of theme, a change of topic. Mikey, good to see you. Mikey Velez is watching. 4 more Christians found guilty over prayer gathering at Nashville abortion clinic. You see, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, I might go on my soapbox a little bit here. Just a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. So, 4 Christians were found guilty, convicted of, I believe, what they called obstructing, intimidating. It's called a FACE law, freedom of access to clinic entrances. Yeah. So the law prohibits anyone from obstructing, intimidating, or interfering with a woman seeking an abortion. So to my knowledge, these people were praying either on or in front of the premises where, they kill babies. So what's going on, in my opinion, is it's all about religion and not the Christian religion. Okay? There is a serious uptick, ladies and gentlemen, in religious activity in this country. Don't fool yourself. Religion is very much alive in the public forum. Now, it's not the religion that you and I are accustomed to. Okay? This religion is really, really high on bloodletting, really high on sacrifice, really, really high on evil. Why? Well, that's the spirit of their God with a little g. They're Satanists, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I said it. You don't have to believe it. They do. They certainly do. If you don't think that I'm right, then hit me up at bitcoinotter.media@gmail.com, and I'll give you more than enough to back up my opinion. So anybody comments, throw it in there. Luis, good to see you. Lalo, good to see you. So if you want to know about this, if you want to know, wait a minute, what are you talking about, Otter? I can help you with it. If you have a comment, please hit me up, because Religion is alive and well. It's just not the religion that does anyone any good. So a bench trial at the Fred Thompson Federal Courthouse in Nashville this past week lasted just one day. 1 day, ladies and gentlemen. It took them to convict people that were just praying, merely praying. They were praying, okay? They were praying that babies didn't die that day. Well, you know what? According to the religion that some follow, babies have to die every day. They had been charged after singing hymns, praying, and persuading women not to abort their babies on March 5th, 2021. At the now defunct Carafem, Health Center in Mount Juliet, Tennessee. The DOJ, those people, the DOJ characterized the action as an illegal blockade. In reality, it is a blockade. Your prayers are powerful. They do act as a blockade, but not in this world, because our weapons are not of this world, says our God with a big G. It is likely that the Department of Justice, the DOJ, these are my words, the devils, will be throwing an elderly survivor of a communist concentration camp in federal prison for sitting in a wheelchair in the hallway of an abortion business and singing church hymns. Would you like me to read that again? Let it sink in. A survivor of a communist concentration camp. This person knows what the devil does, is intimately aware of how Satanism works, because that's what communism is all about. So that person is quite possibly and probably going to a federal prison for sitting in a wheelchair in the hallway of an abortion business and singing church hymns. This is America, ladies and gentlemen. This is the United States of America, and wheelchair-bound prayer warriors are going to federal prison. What does that tell you about the state of the union? Thank you. Thank you. Much appreciated, Lalo. Sue is watching. Sue's on. So here's another one that makes you think. It's not here in the United States of America, but it says police in Scotland deluged with nearly 4,000 complaints as new hate crime law is weaponized. Yeah. 4,000 complaints on hate crime laws, ladies and gentlemen. As predicted, Scotland police were deluged with nearly 4,000 complaints in the first day alone after the passage of an absurd hate law. This is again, I believe, from Zero Hedge. Hate crime law, proving the legislation is being weaponized by activists. Under the new legislation, anyone deemed to have been verbally abusive in person or online to a transgender person, including insulting them, could be hit with a prison sentence up to 7 years. So these people that decided that they didn't want to be who they were, who God made them, they want to be who they want to be, decided to take advantage of this hate crime law, and 4,000 in the first day alone, 4,000 complaints are going to the judge for him to decide whether or not people will go into prison for talking bad things, saying bad things, well, in the eyes, in the ears of some. Mike, good to see you, Mike. 4,000 complaints, ladies and gents. 4,000 complaints. You know what they were doing? They were saving up their hate, because these people hate a lot. They were saving up their hate for the people that made who knows what kind of innocuous comments. Sure, maybe some did warrant some sort of, hey, you threatened to kill this person, you need to be checked out. You can't be threatening people. I understand that. I'm not saying we can threaten people's lives. Not where I'm going. What I'm saying is that if you say he to a she or she to a he, even though it is a she and is a he, but the he and the she don't want to be a he or a she, You see where I'm coming? Isn't that very clear? How clear that is? If you say the wrong thing, in Scotland, you could go to prison for 7 years for hate speech because they hate you when you speak. They hate you anyway. But now they can put you in jail when you speak. So Mike says, happy birthday. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, as predicted, Scotland police, well, they're deluged, okay? And the weaponization has occurred. Now, here's another thing. And if you think Scotland, is clown world, wait till you see New York. Ha! Woo! Yeah. Police in New York, this is from Libs of TikTok on X. Police in New York announced they released a criminal who ran a scamming operation, impersonated a police officer, and is in our country illegally. He was arrested and promptly released with an appearance ticket. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've been watching the show for 5 minutes, you've heard me say that a wheelchair-bound prayer warrior is going or possibly going to prison for years for praying against the killing of babies. And in Scotland, 4,000 people have the potential jail sentence of up to 7 years for saying things that other people don't like. Yet here we have in New York an illegal alien who was impersonating a police officer and scamming people, arrested and promptly released with an appearance ticket. Because we all know that if illegal aliens are good at one thing, they're good at appearing because they get notices to appear and they show up almost never time. Almost never. It's actually a notice to disappear. So we have an example of extremes. And I don't know if you've all seen, what was the name of that? Idiocracy. If you haven't seen Idiocracy, you are going to want to check that movie out. It's stupid, but so is our world. You're going to love it. It matches our world. You're going to think like, wow, are these people psychic? Did they really know what was going to happen in our world? Eileen, good to see you. Javi, good to see you with us. So the thing is this. We are living in an upside down world. And if you didn't know, the Bible talks about this too. How does it talk about this? Well, the Bible says that in the last days, and I don't know how many are left. I'm not saying it's happening tomorrow, whatever. Please. I'm not a televangelist. So the Bible says that in the last days, good will be called evil and evil will be called good. And that is exactly what we're witnessing here today, ladies and gents. We're witnessing the upside down. If you're really deep into this stuff, and I know some of you are, Mikey, you're going to know what I mean when I say as above, so below. Do you remember those religious people I spoke about earlier, the ones that worship the God with a little g, a God with a little g, and they like the blood thing and all that? Yeah, they believe that as above, so below. Okay? The inversion of worlds, spiritual, physical, good, evil. And they're very religious about this. You don't have to believe that it exists. They do. Okay? Just know that they do. And they have very, very high positions of power. Yeah, they come from below. Their power comes from below. But they have positions of authority and power here in this system, in this world. Okay? Don't doubt it. When you think, why? Why would people do this? Why would people kill so many kids? Why would people not go after child sex traffickers? Why? Because it serves their religion, ladies and gentlemen. It's sad, it's sick, it's twisted, but unfortunately it's true. And you don't have to take my word for it. Again, bitcoinotter.media@gmail.com, and I'll show you. Now, I don't want to wallow in the negative stuff all show long. Anybody got a comment, something they want to talk about? Oh, Javi says, preach it, Otter. Thank you. So whenever there's a negative, we know that there's an overwhelming positive. It's just a matter of looking for it, ladies and gentlemen. It's just a matter of looking for it. And if things happen the way I believe they're going to happen, okay? And I'm not talking about the biblical account because that book is for sure. For sure. The script is written, ladies and gentlemen. God wins. Let's get on the right side. Let's make that clear. Jesus Christ is my hope, my salvation, and my truth. Okay? Now, do I have hope in other things? Yes, I do. I hope my coffee is good. Oh, that hope panned out. That's good coffee. Trivial things, right? Maybe not so trivial, but I also hope that what I believe is going to happen in this country will happen. Meaning, I believe that in the election coming up November 5th, the boss is going to be back. Donald J. Trump will be back. We're going to vote him in legally this time. Okay? Because the resident, well, we don't know so much about that one, right? But we do know that this one's going to be good. And we're going to see overwhelming support. Are we going to see resistance? Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, I think the resistance is going to be so hot that we're going to see bad things happen throughout this year. But again, we're not going to focus. We're not going to focus on the negativity because it's going to be all around us. They're going to want to distract us. They're going to tell us great numbers, job numbers. Jobs are up. Of course, jobs are up. You lay off full-time workers, they're going to get 2 or 3 part-time jobs. Your job numbers are up, Schenkelstein. Of course it's going to be up. Of course. Knuckleheads. Jackasses on the media. They really think we're that dumb that we don't know. You know, they might not go to the grocery store. They might not go to the Quickie Mart. They might not go to pump their own gas. But hell, we do. We see it. You ever try to buy, lumber for a do-it-yourself project lately? Come on, man. Nicole, good to see you. How are you going to afford these things if you're making a minimum wage job or even more? How do you raise a family on $60,000 to $80,000 nowadays? Used to be you could have a house, a vehicle, your wife wouldn't have to work. 60 grand was a lot, man. Nowadays that you can't pay the bills. You're drowning in credit card debt. The interest rates on the credit cards like over 20% now, 25%. And people are using them to pay light bills and water bills. And it's insane. It's insane. But this is Bidenomics. This is what the good guys want you to see. They want you to see the potential of this evil. And we're seeing it. Ooh, and it's an eyeful, right? So let me change the subject just a little bit here. Oh, and I just want to let you know, we're on 97.7 FM, KCYP, the city out of McAllen, Texas. Got to, recap that. We're going out on YouTube, Facebook, both the Bitcoin Otter one, Christopher Ott, and 97.7. Okay, both of those Bitcoin and Facebook. And we're going out on TuneIn Radio app, okay, and Radio Garden app. Glad to be with you. Now, the Bitcoin Otter Show. This is something that's crazy. A little bit. Oh, I also want to add, before I get into this craziness, it's all crazy, right? We hit a record last week. The show that I had last week with Alex from Crazy Travels, hit him up when you want. Just look into last week's show. Man, we're closing in on 350 views just on my channel. We're not talking about all the other channels and whatnot. Thanks, Bitcoin Otter fans. I love you. And that's serious. I really do. You guys make this possible. And again, let me know what you want to hear. Let me know what you want to talk about. All right? Thank you. So this craziness, maybe somebody's got a little more on this because I'm normally I can dial in and gauge things. This whole solar eclipse thing, guys, I don't know. I have no clue what these people are thinking. What do they think is going to happen? How is this? How does it justify this? What I'm going to read you right now. This is Ariel. He's on, Twitter, X. Kentucky declared a state of emergency. West Virginia declared a state of emergency. Ontario, Canada declared a state of emergency. Arkansas declared a state of emergency. Killeen, Texas declared a state of emergency. Ohio declared a state. I ran out of the page. There were more. A state of emergency Ladies and gentlemen, what is supposed to happen? Does anybody know? Come up if you know. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Thanks, Sue. I'm trying not. I'm drinking water and coffee here, but I haven't seen Valhalla yet. What's going on? Does anybody know? What is going on? What is it with this eclipse? Have we not had eclipse before? Have we not seen them? Have people not, burn their eyeballs looking up at the sun? Yeah, it's happened before. What's new about this time? Is it because we're in election cycle? Is it an election cycle that makes it so much different? Is it 2024? What is it? Ladies and gents, I'm not Jessica, good to see you. Dan's watching. Maybe Dan's got a comment. I don't know. I'm not at a loss for words, but the fact of the matter is I don't have words to describe what this solar eclipse is supposed to mean other than a solar eclipse. The moon goes in front of the sun, you don't see it for a while, and it moves away, and boom. What is supposed to happen that all of these places, and again, I ran out of space, Kentucky, West Virginia, Ontario, Arkansas, Clean, Ohio, they're already calling for, a state of emergency. What's going to happen? What is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? I don't know what's going to happen. Somebody thinks something is going to happen. Well, I don't understand. I mean, and they call us crazy when we deal in conspiracy theory. What the hell is calling a state of emergency, 4 days or more away for an event that happens maybe not frequently, but every now and again. And, the world hasn't burned yet. I don't understand. I don't get it. Dan says, the U.S. is so full of themselves, there's an eclipse all over the world on different days. This one is not special. I feel the same. But what is the Mockingbird media doing to the officials of these towns and states? Or is it opposite? Are the officials of these towns and states doing something that do they know what's going to happen? Has somebody said, hey, watch out for this? Something's going to kick off. I don't know. I guess it just means there's another reason to stay away from cities on April 8th. Just one more reason. Chalk it up. Stay away from cities, right? I mean, I don't know. Or maybe like Joe said about the blue roofs. Sue says she thinks it was in 1979. Y2K over again, says Dan. I don't know, man. I don't know. But neither 1979 brought about the burning of the earth, and Y2K was just fizzled, right? So what the heck is this? I don't know, man. This is insane. So we'll just stay away from the cities and hope nothing burns, or, and maybe just in case we should paint our roofs blue, right? Those of you that know. Okay. And yeah, Joe actually said that in a video. Joe actually said that they had to change the fact that people were able to paint their houses blue and avoid the fire. It goes deep. BitcoinOtter.media@gmail.com. I'll point you in the right direction. So go buy TP, says Dan. Yeah, you never know. You never know. Toilet paper comes in handy all the time, every day, I hope. Now, how climate change? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Arturo, good to see you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to talk about crazy, maybe we should call this today is the Crazy Otter Show, because this is driving me crazy. This is from the Independent. It's supposed to be legitimate. I don't know if you can see this, but I made a screenshot. It's supposed to be a legitimate news outlet. Here's the headline. How climate change is hitting vulnerable Indonesian trans sex workers. I'm going to say that headline again from the Independent. How climate change is hitting vulnerable Indonesian trans sex workers. Nearly 93% of respondents saw decreased income during the rainy season. Ladies and gentlemen, the rainy season is hurting the vulnerable Indonesian trans sex workers. And it's your fault. Do you drive a gas-powered car? It's your fault. Yeah. Do you not use solar power? It's your fault. Do you not drive an electric car? Do you breathe? Then it's your fault. It's your fault the climate's changing, and it's your fault that those vulnerable Indonesian trans sex workers are hurting. Your fault. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to hold this upside down because we're living in upside down world. They're blaming climate change for the fact that rainy days make it so that people who are biologically different than their pronouns are losing money. Dan says, I'm sure there's going to be a visa for this. Yeah. Dan put, I think, 5,375 laughing icons onto the screen. And so did Javi. It's incredible. It's incredible. Climate change. I'm going to read this again. For anybody who just tuning in or whatever you want to learn about the craziness that is this world. The Independent says how climate change is hitting vulnerable Indonesian trans sex workers. Nearly 93% of respondents saw decreased income during the rainy season. Nobody likes to have sex in rain. Is that what they're telling us? Is that what they're trying to say? And if they don't, it's our fault? I think that's it. I think that's the conclusion we're to draw from the Independent article here. Chihuahuas. This one here is a little more serious. This one here is just as funny, just as crazy, just as nuts. But if you are following it all, a woman by the name of Laura Loomer, okay? Oh, there's a lot of hate for her, and nobody's going to jail for it. In fact, they're being applauded for hating her because she's only a woman, right? Women don't have any rights anymore. In fact, you could probably put on a dress, go into a women's race, and beat the living pants off of those ladies and get a trophy, and you'll be loved. With a beard, without a beard, doesn't matter. As long as you go in and you say, I'm a woman, I'm going to win this race, and you go win the race. Yeah, man, get your trophy. You can't beat men, try it against women, right? Isn't that the motto nowadays? Letty, good to see you. So, if you want a little boost in your male ego, go compete as a female. Real simple, easy. You kidding me? You could do swimming, you could do badminton, you could do wrestling. Heck, they're even doing MMA now. You want to beat up on a woman? It's legal now. Because you know what? These sick freaks don't care about women. They don't care any more about a woman than they care about you. They hate you. Remember that. But I love you, whatever it's worth. Anyway, Laura Loomer, they hate her, also, has an exclusive. Ladies and gentlemen, Laura Loomer, hater, lover, whatever, she is what reporters used to be. What do you mean, Otter? I mean, reporters used to dig stuff up and tell you things that you didn't know. And they were truthful. Those are things that media no longer does. They don't tell you things you don't know, and they're not truthful. What are they used for? Propaganda. Anyway, Laura Loomer, a legitimate journalist, unlike mainstream media, this story about a judge. Sue, I thought you were going to tell a positive. Okay, let me turn that, Sue. Now, while the Indonesian trans sex workers are losing money, the farmers in Indonesia are getting their crops watered. Yeah. See, easy peasy. So, while they might not be having sex, they can eat. Anyway. Merchan, okay? This Merchan fellow, he's a judge, and he's right now presiding over these are my words, okay? And if anybody does a fact check, they'll find out that it's a fraudulent trial, fraudulent charges. Nothing's going to happen, and if it does, it'll also be fraudulent. But the fact of the matter is, my theory is coming true. Again, these conspiracy theories have a crazy knack of coming true. What is my theory? You might be thinking. My theory is that as all of these procedures, these criminal procedures of clear and total election interference go through against Donald J. Trump, which in my opinion is also part of his campaign, and it's working swimmingly, you will see, as they focus in on the case, an exposure of the criminals setting him up for a trial. We had Fannie, right? Fannie and the prosecutor getting it on the taxpayer's dollar, right? We had that. You want links or whatever? BitcoinOtter.media@gmail.com. Now, this one here, Laura Loomer has exposed Mr. Merchan. Now, Mr. Merchan has a wife and he's got a daughter. Hey, a lot of judges have wives and daughters, Otter. What are you saying here? I'm going to tell you what I'm saying. Will Ramsey's on. Good to see you. I'll tell you what I'm saying. And this is the headline here. Lauren Merchan's mother and Judge Merchan's wife worked for the Trump-hating New York Attorney General Letitia James. This judge, his wife and his daughter worked for Letitia James, who's prosecuting Donald Trump. If not the, head prosecutor, she's the Attorney General. Ladies and gentlemen, if this is not more craziness, I don't know what is. If this is sane, and fact check me, man. Facebook? Huh? Zucker, mucker, hucker, mucker? You want to fact check me? Fact check it. Because you know as well as I do, Laura Loomer is telling the truth. Just like all these other sham trials, we're going to see the truth, and we're going to see the dirty, nasty, filthy actors for who they are. So if you want to check that out, it's at Laura Loomer on X, right? She says you won't get this information anywhere else. Well, Laura, thank you for digging that up. I'm spreading it out. She also says that now that Judge Merchan has expanded the gag order tonight on President Trump, preventing him from speaking about and she's got a pic. I didn't copy the pic, but there's more information if you want to go on X, look up Laura Loomer. So this guy gives Donald Trump a gag order. Yeah, whoa. So I'm completely compromised in this. It doesn't mean you could talk about it. I don't know if he's got that kind of voice or not, but that's what I'm thinking. That he puts a gag order on Donald Trump. I mean, that's obvious. You don't want him to tell truth. I understand. If you're a communist, you don't want the candidate against your communist candidate to be telling truth to the masses. I understand that. But you put a gag order on the guy, and then people find out, which they didn't expect, of course, that your wife and your daughter worked, maybe not currently, but worked for the Attorney General that ran on the platform of Get Trump. Do you think you're going to hear this in the and in fact I put it in Google just for giggles. Nothing. You put in Trump judge New York, you put in Trump judge Letitia James, you put in any of that, oh, you're going to get how evil Trump is and how he's going to pay, how he's going to go to jail. But what you won't see is that the judge in the case has a wife and a daughter that either worked or perhaps even behind the scenes still work. I don't know. Can't corroborate. For the Trump-hating, interfering, prosecuting Attorney General Letitia, as Donald Trump says, Peekaboo James. So that is that. Jessica, thank you. Thank you, Jessica. Here's one, and this will be our last one, ladies and gents. This will be our last one for the day. We're running up on the hour. Been really good, ladies and gents. And if you're listening to this afterwards, it's still going to be good because you can contact me at any time. BitcoinOtter.media@gmail.com. Also, my sister Sue that we see here every week is working on our revamped website. It's under construction, but it's bitcoinotter.com, and I'm going to have a lot of new stuff on there, okay? The old one didn't work out so well. We got a new one coming up. It's going to be great, okay? She's working it. We're going to work it, meaning I'm going to start, writing about this crazy stuff, doing, maybe shorter videos, and you will also have an opportunity to write in, show your opinion, whatever it is you think is going on here, because, man, it's crazy. So this is the last one, and I don't want to, again, go into too much negativity, but it's off of Zero Hedge, and I strongly advise or recommend that you read it. It's called Fire Then Ice, Our Deflationary Future. And it's actually, once it goes through a disastrous scenario of a dollar crash, it'll bring you up to speed on how that actually occurs in empires. Now, you and I might not think that the United States is an empire, but the evil bastards that put together the neocon establishment, we're talking Rumsfelds, Cheneys, Brzezinskis, all those criminals, Bushes, all those criminals, and way back, Kissinger's. We're talking about, we're really, really talking about these, and they're mostly puppets, all those, and we know that, right, Mikey? Right, Matt? We know this, right? Jamie! Thank you, Jamie. I appreciate that. I really do. Felix, hello. So what we're talking about is there is a difference between a nation state, and this is in the article I'm summarizing. There's a difference between a nation state having a devaluation shot to their currency, right? And an empire taking a deflation or a devaluation shot to their currency. And here's the difference I'll just skim this, right? So a new dollar, well, I skipped the bad part because we're not going to focus on that. We're going to focus on the good stuff. And where is the good stuff? It's for the people that prepare. And what are we all about? Preparation. Not preparation H, only on bad days. But preparation is what I'm talking about when you want to buy land, you want to buy gold, you want to buy silver and Bitcoin, because you want to prepare for a devaluation of the US dollar. And this is how it may or may not go. The article, again, is from zerohedge.com. Fire Then Ice. You look for that and it'll show up, okay? Or hit me up on bitcoinotter.media@gmail.com. I'll set you straight. So then after the crash of a dollar, right, when nation states do it, they crumble. But when an empire does it, like the freaks who always were talking to us about projection of power in the 70s and the 80s and the 2000s, after we, knew within 2 weeks, knew within moments of the 9/11 thing happening that we were going to invade 7 nations. Yes, 7. Again, hit me up on email if you want to know the links. At least 7 nations we were already going to attack because, well, we knew, box cutters, guy in a cave with a laptop, they had the whole story ready for us. So after a devaluation, or after a crash, we should say, in the economy of a nation state, it hurts, it kills the nation state, basically. Ask Argentina, right? So in an empire, this is what happens. And I'm going to read from the article now. A new dollar is then introduced at a ratio of 1 new unit to 100, or 1,000 to 100,000 of the old dollars. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but this happened to Mexico not that long ago, within my wife's lifetime, because she told me about it. So the peso underwent a devaluation. I don't know if it was 101 pop-up, if anybody knows. El Cris, thank you. Corinne is on. Thanks, Felix. If anybody knows what the Mexican peso devaluation was, I think it was, I can't remember what year it was, but it wasn't that far back. But this is what happens, okay, because the average people, they hurt in a nation state. Now, tools, skills, precious metals, buildings, mines, farms, etc., still retain their intrinsic productive value. But the monetary reset means everyone whose phantom wealth was a form of debt is wiped out. So if you're one of those bankers that deals in derivatives, oh, you've got, I got a short on this. I'm long in this market. I got a hedge fund here. That's wiped out. That's gone. One, because, well, it's phantom money. It's not really backing anything of any substance. Two, there's way too many people between you and your money for you to get anything back in a crisis. Only one of those dominoes has to break it, and you're not getting your money. See what I'm saying? Same with our 401k plans. There's a lot of people in between us and our money. Are we going to get it? I don't know. So Mike says 1994. Thank you, Mike. Dan said it was a huge impact in Mexico and all border towns in the U.S. December of 1994. Thanks, Mike. So December of 1994, and you can look this up, Mexico went through a devaluation. Now, as we see these maniacs burning our oil reserves, doing everything, right? They're burning through our strategic oil reserve, right? Again, I can follow you through on that. But these things are happening, and it's a sign, it's many signals of, and they'll never tell you, the lack of value in the US dollar. Now, let me continue with this article, and we'll be done. This dynamic makes perfect sense, and it's a well-worn pathway for nation states. Empires, however, might choose differently. And this is the good news. Remember I told you we were going to come around to good stuff soon. The difference between a nation state and an empire is generally underappreciated, says Zero Hedge. A nation state can destroy its currency and bankrupt everyone holding its bonds and or debt and start over. But an empire cannot be so cavalier. For the reserve currency of the empire is its foundation of power. What does that mean? It means that we're not going to see the US dollar disappear in this educated author's opinion, which of course it wasn't me, because my shadow never darkened the door of any institution of higher learning. Anyway, this educated author on Zero Hedge, and I can appreciate his angle, his perspective. Why? I can appreciate it because he makes a good point in that if the United States of America, as its nation, as its empire, if you don't think we're an empire, try looking this up. That big bad enemy that they want us to hate on, Russia. Check out how many any international military bases that Russia has. Gather that number in your head. Then do the same for the United States. How many internationally located military bases does the United States have? And if you don't think that either the United States or the people that own the banks, that own the government of the United States, don't have an empire going, then you might want to reconsider how you think about things. Just try that. How many foreign military bases Russia has compared to the U.S.? You'll be astounded. Now, Roseli, good to see you. Pablo, good to see you. Javi says our money is in prison. You're right. You're absolutely right. And if they had their way, we would be in prison too. Just like the lady in the wheelchair praying at the abortion clinic. They want her in prison too. But all this to say, ladies and gentlemen, that if we are prepared, and as it said in the article, do you have skills? Do you have tools? Do you have assets like land, gold, silver, Bitcoin? Do you have these things that, though they're not intrinsically tied to the dollar, they have value in and of themselves? If you have these things, you have no fear of a devaluation. In fact, you can make out in a devaluation. Yes. Are you getting it now? In the old, only old people will remember this, but there was a movie called Escape from New York. Okay. And in the movie, the bad guy in the prison, that Snake Plissken, which was played by Kurt Russell, went into New York, and his famous line was, "Can you dig it?" Now, if you have these things, if you are prepared, you can make out in a crash. Can you dig it? Yes, you can. You can dig it because you're watching. You understand. Land, gold, silver, Bitcoin. Can you dig it? I love you all. Have a great week. I'm going to close out now with a blessing. I want to bless you all, not just financially, not just in your everyday work life, but in your family life, in your home life, and in your spiritual life. Lord Jesus, bless everyone watching now and everyone that's going to watch and listen later. May your word go out. Read a Bible verse today. How's that? I'm not preaching to you. Just saying it might help you. Might help you because, man, we got tough times. But we're going to win. Why are we going to win? Because God's going to win. God's the winning team. Get on it. He's got an open invite. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week. Thank you for the comments and the attention on these subjects. Have a great week. God bless you. Yes.
This is the Bitcoin Otter Radio Show.
Oh my God, I love you so